It's been 10 years since the release of Journey on the PlayStation 3, and it is still highly regarded as a pioneering title in game design. Using simple controls, sophisticated color schemes, and lighting, Journey delivers an experience that is rare in the medium and the best argument for games as art. Journey runs on the principle of less is more. The wide open spaces can feel like broad brushstrokes of color and light. The player character stands out not just in color, but in contrast and in stature. Every stage of the game is a tightly controlled color scheme that lends itself to the themes explored narratively. The deserts are rich in light and orange and yellow hues that highlight the texture of the sand. In particular, the sunset is something to behold as you race towards the mountain and the sun itself. When underground in the caves, the use of darkness, blues and grays, give a sense of depth and trepidation into the unknown. The side of the mountain is bleak with wind, slate-hued stones, and whiteout conditions that make the final part of this adventure particularly ominous. Without a single word, visuals carry the entirety of the narrative. The stylization of the character and the glyphs on the structures reference early human history and antiquity. If one pays careful attention, the use of foreshadowing is everywhere, as one might find in an epic poem. Using all these design elements and choices, the game is describing a human experience, a struggle against the elements, an ascension to a higher plane through danger and perseverance. The game begins with an incredibly low bar to entry. The control scheme is simple, even with its awkward 6-axis camera, which thankfully can be ignored. The player is guided by objects of interest in a barren land of dunes. Character movement is also simple and fits the landscape. Speed is not a concern, as the terrain will dictate that. And all of the controls are introduced within the first steps of the game. There's really nothing else left to learn. Skill is just not at play, but these simple yet grand concepts are. Meeting the other entities in the desert will refresh your ability to jump and float when you speak to them. Giving words and symbols talismanic powers is something that makes the setting feel ancient. And using just this visual language to communicate with the player would be enough on its own. But Journey really shines in its multiplayer functionality. There's no indication or message telling you another player has joined your game, but you may find part of your puzzle being solved or a figure just walking around in the distance. Now, there's really no functional difference, but you can communicate with them just using your word or symbol. Still, it adds so much to the world. The landscape doesn't feel as empty, and having someone to follow or lead puts the adventure into a new context. The other player may be an experienced one wearing a robe adorned in gold to signify that they have completed their journey, or they might be a new adventurer as well. But just as quietly as they may enter, they may leave. There are no names over the player, although you can find out who you played with at the end credits. But turning around to expect someone and suddenly find yourself alone can be really jarring. The feeling of a lost civilization really hits hard. When you put all these elements together, what the player gets is a masterclass in design, wrapped up in about a 2-hour experience. There's no fat on this game, no filler. Journey is a game with clear direction and a subtle take on grand themes. It's a must-play title that elevates the medium into the realm of high art.